When I went for shopping today, I was about to use Apple Pay to pay for my stuff, only to see this on my phone. So I came back home empty-handed and had no food for today. But is the battery on my phone really empty? Because that would be a lie. Because nearly all phone companies like Apple have clearly stated that the battery isn't dead. And that's not because Apple wants to push you to change your battery or to make you buy the iPhone 17 Pro instead, but it's critical to have some leftover battery on the side so critical components on the phone can still function and some utilities like Find My Phone. In a few words, the battery isn't completely empty. Surprise! Even if you lost your iPhone and it's at 0%, then you can still locate it thanks to Apple implementing Find My Phone back in 2021 with iOS 15. Even if you dumped it in the river or lost it in the jungle, assuming that Starlink can still track it. But Apple is not the only company doing stuff like this, because Google has also stated that they use the Find My Device software, which is active when the battery is at 0%. So if you lost it at your local jungle, you can still find it. And for reference, I made this video over here, so if you want to find more information about this, you can watch this as well. And Samsung has something similar by reporting the last location of where your Galaxy died. Even though it's not as good as Google and Apple, it's still something. That might not be enough to push the thieves away, and because Apple has made it so secure that it's nearly impossible to access a lost iPhone, that's why a bunch of people, if they cannot find the previous owner of the iPhone, they will deassemble it and sell it for parts in eBay, on eBay or somewhere else. And for that reason why Apple is trying to make the iPhone look like a brick. But is this the only reason why the battery isn't at 0% when it is? Absolutely not. Because all lithium-ion batteries, which are used for mobile phones in today's world and has been for the last couple of decades, they follow this graph right here. See, the battery is stored with voltage, starting at about 4.5 voltage when the battery is 100%. And the voltage of the battery decreases over time as you're playing Call of Duty Mobile or watching a bunch of dancing videos on TikTok, until it reaches about 3.5 voltage when your phone claims to be at 0%. Again, this is a big lie. Basically, the 3.5 voltage is the safe limit of when the battery should stop working, so it can prevent it from draining faster than the speed of light. And when this happens, when the battery reaches a 2.5 voltage or even lower than that, it breaks the safety limit. And then interesting things start to happen, including the possibility of making the battery impossible to charge ever again. So remember those baby photos that you had on your phone, or those crazy teenager years that you had in your memories? Yeah, you'll never see them again. However, it's not the 2.5 voltage that causes the big chaos, is when the voltage drops below 3.0. And that's when the resistance of the battery starts to increase. Think of the resistance as you're trying to do arm wrestling and trying to arm wrestle the strongest person in your class. Of course, you'll use all your strength to try to win, but you notice that your muscles get very hot, and if you keep pushing, then you may injure yourself. So this is similar to what happens when you try to push current into a high resistance battery. And basically that's not good, because the higher the resistance is, the higher the energy, meaning that the battery will get heat up more. And you can even try this by yourself. So the next time you forget to charge your phone and it's like this, then try to charge it and then keep holding it to see how the battery heats up. And if you leave it for years, please don't try it. You can try to put an egg on the phone and see if it fries. In more technical terms, when the resistance increases, small dendrites are slowly building up in your battery. Think of it as metal spike, which causes current when you're trying to charge the battery. Think of it as microwaving your food and forgetting to remove the fork from the plate. Yeah, just don't do it. And as a rule of thumb, when the battery overheats, then bad things happen, especially the lower the voltage of the battery goes. And if the resistance gets too high, then trying to charge it can cause the battery to catch fire and eventually blow up. But do not worry about this, because companies like Apple have implemented safety measures, including the battery management system, which basically prevents the battery from degrading to that low level. And it will be able to detect if the battery is at this critical level, so even if your iPhone is left at 0% after many years, your battery will simply just not charge. So basically say goodbye to all of your old photos unless you just replace the battery, assuming that Apple still supports your phone. So what happens when your phone reaches at 0%? Well, at once, nothing. But if it's left like this for a while, then expect it to not be able to charge after some time. So my suggestion, if you're about to retire your iPhone and buy a new one, and will end up in your storage room with a bunch of items in front of it, then make sure you charge it up to 50% and then put it on the box. Charging it to 100% is also quite dangerous, because the resistance of the battery will be also very high, which can also permanently damage your battery. 50% is actually the safest percentage where your battery should be at all times, or at least if possible. Stay charged. I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe.